Welcome to Monster Monday. So, how many films are we now? Is this 7, 10, 12?
Hopefully not that many.
This is number 6, The Freaks. And we've got 2 left. 2 left after tonight. Same cover bullshit as we've seen enough. We'll get a new cover next, but God, I'm not excited to watch that one. All right. So this movie starts with the now trademark of the franchise, slow-mo running.
Yep, a good 5 minutes of it.
It's a little less than that.
It feels like 20. Yeah, it's a minute maybe.
Yeah, a minute of slow-mo running definitely feels like 5 or 20. So the slow-mo running, I feel it's like padding the runtime. Like, oh, well, it's not long enough. Let's put running in the opening. How does that play in the film? I know
it's... I don't know. I guess I thought it was the pastor's daughter. Like, I thought it was a flash... Like, everything after that was a flashback of, like, what led up to it. Because there's a point where you think that the British guy that's a werewolf was, killing her. But that doesn't happen. So I'm not really sure, but she's carrying like a teddy bear. So it's either something that happened in his past or it is her, but I can't quite tell.
This is yet another film where this is happening too often. I'm really trying not to let this happen, honestly. But it's like another one of those films where it's like things are so silly that my brain starts to check out on dialogue, and I'm really just kind of trying to make fun of it. And then I just end up feeling like the idiot, because there's even stuff between the werewolf and the vampire at the end where he's like yelling at him, "We're not brothers." And yeah. I'm like, what? What dialogue did I miss there? He said they were brothers? And he's like, "We're not brothers."
I don't think that's explained. I think that's supposed to be like not a plot point, but sort of like backstory. Like, I don't even know if they mean legitimate brothers or if they mean like werewolves and vampire, like their clans being brothers. But I don't think it's ever fully explained.
I thought I was paying attention, but
I was too. I mean, we were watching and neither of us was on our phone. Neither of us was sleeping.
No.
I did paint my nails, but
no.
You were watching during then. And I was too, so.
But the dialogue gets so inane. Here's the thing, though. I didn't hate this movie. I thought this was definitely the better of the sequels so far. That's not saying a whole lot with this franchise. The first one is leagues better than anything else. But I would say 2 through 6, I'd say 6 is the best. But that doesn't mean that it's good. I'd say it's watchable. I do like some of the ideas here, that this guy is running this carnival and he takes a werewolf into his sideshow and he has the ability to use some kind of, spell to make him turn at any time so he can exploit him for monetary gain. And then he ends up being a vampire and they have like a big showdown at the end with all that sounds cool, right? But the film definitely drags. The characters are very one-dimensional and kind of one-note. And outside of maybe like the alligator boy, I kind of felt sympathy for him.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I feel like everyone else is pretty wooden and doesn't really have a lot to offer. But I think what carries this film is its ideas and some of the execution. I like the look of the vampire. I like the look of the werewolf. Like, I liked that stuff. But man, all the like romance and the drama and all of that, I was so checked out.
Yeah, I agree. I actually enjoyed this movie, and I thought that the concept was really cool. And I do think it is probably one of the better sequels. I can't think of another one that we've watched that is, like trying to be serious and succeeding in it.
Yeah.
This one I think does a pretty good job at it, but like you said, the characters are one-dimensional. I definitely feel like the alligator boy was my favorite because he was the most like humanized, and I definitely cared about what he was going through. But everybody else was just kind of like, I don't know, like they lacked depth,
Sure.
So, but about how they look though too, I love the way that the vampire looked. I thought he was really cool, and the werewolf looked all right. But I have to say I prefer werewolves that look more wolf-like,
Sure,
and don't really have the human face still. I think that's part of the appeal for me, is that they are turning into like a wolfman hybrid. So I feel like having the wolf face is kind of necessary for me in some
a
ways.
wolfman hybrid would be half wolf, half man face, like this
Well,
movie, right?
No, because it's like the man body. I like the man body hybrid part. Like I like that they're like standing on their hind legs and covered in fur, but still have like a wolf's head and like a tail. I like the way that
So
looks.
almost completely wolf.
Yeah.
Just they're
but
standing
just like
up.
but like man body.
So that's like 5% man, 95% wolf.
No, it can be half man, half wolf still.
What in there is man?
The body. The body.
The
part.
body's just standing up.
Well, no. It could be like a man's body, but just a hairy body.
But do the legs turn backwards?
Sure, so the legs are part wolf. Okay, it's not 5%. It's more like 20% man, 80% wolf. It's that.
I feel like in this movie it's 50-50.
Sure.
This is like a true wolf-man hybrid.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking it. I prefer what you're saying. But I feel like, yeah, it's kind of like that joke in Family Guy, I want to say, where the mermaid washes up on shore and like this girl like has this fantasy of fucking a mermaid and like a merman, and then he washes up and he has like the lower half of a man but the upper half of a fish. She's like, no, I want the other way around, and he's like, yeah, but then I wouldn't have a dick.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he looked good though in this. Like the effects were actually pretty okay. There's, one part of his wolf transformation that it's the shot from under the bed of his foot. That's like really clearly, I didn't like that. I thought it looked like he was wearing a slipper.
Oh. Well, the ones were his claws, yeah.
Those were awesome. Yeah, his nails peeling back and then the claws coming out. That looked really cool. And his face in him was fine. His eyes were really creepy and he looked scary for sure, but I just prefer the other way when it comes to werewolves.
The werewolf in this is much more traditional. This is the way that, the universal wolfman looks. This is the way that, old school werewolf movies made them. They were like half man, half wolf, like Teen Wolf or any of those movies. But I prefer, Bad Moon and Dog Soldiers, and, I very much prefer the two, like on two legs. I want them 7 freaking feet tall.
Yeah. I want them to be like full on monsters.
Yes.
Like not really recognizable as humans anymore. But this also works, I think, the way that he looks in this, because like with carnivals and circuses, the freaks, like there was always like the Wolfman, which was just like a really hairy guy who had like, and that fits with what they're going through. It was intake. So I think it worked well, and I don't like, it doesn't lower the movie for me. It was just more of like a preference that I wanted to talk about for a moment. But I like the carnival too, or the circus. I think that the shots in there looked really cool. The set design was neat, and all of the freaks were pretty interesting. I mean, we don't see too many of them. It's really just like 3, other than, I guess, the werewolf and the vampire. But it was cool. Like it gave me the vibe of going to a carnival and seeing like interesting people.
So, speaking of the carnival, one question I don't feel like could even possibly have an answer, that was just one of those eye roll, accepted it's a movie kind of things, is this, this carnival rolls into town. You see their entire getup coming down the street like a parade. Everyone's out in the street like, oh yeah, the carnival's in town, even though all of them 5 seconds later or earlier were saying, we don't have any money and the town is drying up and this and that. Now, granted, maybe the carnival would bring people into town. That's what they should have shown. Like, the carnival's helping, right? It's like it's drawing in a lot of attention. Like, it's saving our town. We got to keep them. And there would be people like, because that would be the interesting thing, right?
Sure.
It's so easy to rewrite these movies so on the fly. It's like, this town's drying up. It's dying. Literally, it has a drought. It's, people can't get money and they're all going out of business and disappearing and whatever. And so you got like the sheriff and you got the mayor, and of course, the mayor wants to put money before anything and the good of the town, but not the good of the people. And he's covering up murders and he's doing this because he doesn't want the carnival to leave, because so many people are coming into town and spending all their money and everyone's kind of thriving and their town's going to die if they report these murders. Right? That would have been cool. And then they find out about it and they expose him, and then everyone like kind of turns against the mayor. They like come after him and then go hunt after the werewolf and the vampire. Anyways, I could write this fucking movie 1,000 times better. But anyways, getting back to the point of something that can't be explained, which is just super silly to me. We see their whole cavalcade rolling down the boulevard, and it's just like a couple cars and then like one really beat up freaking, pulled behind, right? Then we flash forward like the next day, and they have this enormously elaborate, huge building.
Yeah.
That is like decked out in funhouse, haunt kind of atmosphere to it, whatever. This is a completely small town. These people didn't even freaking know these people were coming. And somehow they have this thing set up in like a day. Where where'd they get all this stuff? They didn't have it. We can see all of what they have. They don't have all of this stuff.
Sure.
But somehow they have this entire like fairgrounds.
Yeah.
To go put all their shit up and build it all up, and then everyone then there's like hundreds of people there, and in the town it looks like there's like 6 people. So all this stuff, but I don't care about that. There's people who come from surrounding towns, whatever, fine. The patronage isn't my issue. It's the buildings. It's like, where did they get this stuff and how did they build it up so fast? It doesn't matter. In a movie like this, you just go, whatever. But I was just watching, like looking at how elaborate things are. They're walking into different rooms that are these like funhouse type rooms, and I'm like, oh, you put this up overnight, did you? You brought all this stuff with you, did you? You found a freaking huge vacant building that filled all your necessities for what you needed, right? Like, come on. That's not even like a thought. Because to me, in these kinds of situations, doesn't like the writer or the director care at all
about the logic?
Yes.
I mean, one throwaway reason for how that could have been done, I suppose, is vampire magic.
But wouldn't it? Oh, so like he changed. Yeah, everyone in town's just like, oh yeah.
Like they're not really
the old strip mall.
I mean, I don't have a good explanation for it. That's just kind of one that I could think of that, doesn't need any other thought into it.
And you can throw that in the movie.
Sure, like somebody could have, easily.
Like somebody could have said, like,
where did this come from?
Yo, I don't remember these buildings being here.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then they're like, oh,
like whatever.
Don't be a spoil sport.
Sure. But that doesn't happen.
No, because this is just laziness. Well, these are all, most of what I'm talking about, almost every idea that I go to add to a film is all free. It's all just throwaway dialogue that enriches the story and gives credibility to the things that are going on. They're very simple fixes. It's a line. Mm-hmm. One person says a line. Anybody. Doesn't matter. It could be some fucking townsfolk that's in the background. Like, I don't remember this town. Oh, just be quiet. Have a good time.
Sure. Yeah. And to go along, though, with that, I think another unexplainable part, especially with the carnival, is how all these people got money to pay for it.
Oh, sure.
Because they're talking so much about how the town has no money. And then there's literally a scene of them just, handing out tickets in exchange for, money. And it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
unless they are from out of town, like you were saying, unless they really are supposed to be people, which there are a good amount of people, and it is such a small town that, like, I guess it could be the whole town turning out for it, which would make sense, but
everyone
seems like a lot.
but everyone we see in town is there.
Yeah.
So, no. That being said, how many people have you met in your life that are like broke but are at the bar every night?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
When people want to find the money to do what they want to do, they always seem to come up with it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't have rent, but I can go drop $50 on drinks every night.
Sure, yeah.
Fuck off.
I don't have money for food, but I can go see some freaks.
Yeah. So this drifter rolls into town, and there's this like kind of standoff with him and the sheriff, and I'm like, is it going to turn into Rambo?
Right.
For a second, I was just like, is this where this is heading? And then the cop seemed like he was going to be a dick, but then he was really kind of trying to be the hero and the savior throughout the rest of the movie. It was kind of weird. Like, I definitely thought he was a dick, and I thought he was on the wrong side of things. But then, like, when he showed up, that scene made no sense. When he showed up to the carnival.
Mm-hmm. After the werewolf drifter gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's, like, talking to him in his cage.
I thought for sure he was going to be like, this is what you get for coming into town or whatever.
Sure.
But he's like, I got to get you out of here and this and that. And he's like, oh, well, oh no, I want to stay. This guy is being held in a jail cell. He's been straight up kidnapped. And then the cop goes out and he like asks one of the carnies, like, when's the owner going to be back? And he's like, oh, not till tomorrow. And he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll just wait. There's a dude imprisoned. There's a dude that's been kidnapped inside. You're getting him out right now. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to wait till, okay. Do you imagine if, like, your kid was missing and a cop found her and, and she's just like, oh, well, the owner's not going to be back till tomorrow, so we're just going to have to wait. I mean, I talked to her, though. She's okay.
She's right there.
She doesn't want to leave.
I can see her.
Yeah, I'm sitting
but
right in front of her. I don't have that kind of authority.
That conversation that he has with Werewolf Man, though, it is like he's hearing all like different accounts that don't make sense to him. So, the daughter of the pastor's telling him one thing, and then the pastor's telling him another thing, and I think he might be confused on whether or not he should actually be there or not, like in the cage, like if he's part of the carnival now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess if he's there of his own free will, right? Like, no, I want to stay here. You got to listen to him, right? But it's just the way he comes in and sees him in prison. He's just like, so, how you doing?
Very casual.
Yeah, it doesn't line up.
No.
It's very odd. But anyways, and I love how the vampire tells Alligator Boy, like, he's just blowing smoke up this guy's ass the whole fucking movie. But he's like, nobody's going to call you freak anymore. You're not going to be a freak anymore. And then he literally puts him in a freak show. Mm-hmm. Like, the whole conversation is like, no one's going to make fun of you. No one's going to call you a freak. He says that specifically while trying to talk him into being a sideshow freak. Mm-hmm. Like, they're promoting a literal freak show. The fucking name of the movie is The Freaks. And he's like, you're not going to be a freak anymore. And he's like, ooh. And he's like, yeah. And it's like, the whole show is like, and here, check out this freak.
What? This weird man. He's got scales on him. Isn't he so freaky? And he's like, nobody's going to laugh at you ever again. 100% somebody's back there like, fucking lizard boy. I think the purpose of that, though, is also, they kill people. Like, they're murderous carnies. So it's supposed to be, sort of, you're not going to be a freak anymore because you'll be able to kill people that laugh at you or that are mean to you because we have all this power, because I'm an evil vampire and I have an evil little person with an extra arm, and
he specifically says no one, like, you won't be a freak anymore, then puts him in a freak show. Okay, I don't care what power. That's just false advertising.
Yes.
100%.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
But I thought it was really funny, though.
Yeah.
We were laughing when he was saying it in the movie. just because it is so ludicrous.
Yeah. You won't be a whore anymore. Now go suck that dick for money.
Yeah.
Huh? Get back in the whorehouse.
You're not a whore, though.
But you're not a whore. Your whore's here. I mean, it's really that ridiculous.
It is
It really is ridiculous. If you had like a little Quado arm from Total Recall that's like this, how does that make you like a better card player? He's just like, I got an ace.
Yeah, you can hide cards.
But you could, I mean...
But then somebody's like, is that a hand?
Yeah. Like if you saw a little hand come out of his shirt and hand him an ace, I wouldn't be like, he wins.
He wins.
I'd just be like... No.
Yeah. I don't know how that makes him a better card player, other than that he must also be able to conceal it better.
Yeah, but have you ever seen like, you know, magicians with their card tricks and shit? They put those fucking things anywhere. I don't need a third arm.
He does. Maybe he can do extra because he's got the third arm.
All real men have third arms. I'm not a real man. But yeah, it's just so funny when he opens it up and it's just like, man, got an ace.
It's super funny.
It is funny. And then we get the half man, half woman, who looks like a poor man's Danny Elfman.
Yeah, less attractive Danny Elfman.
And he has a relationship with the three-armed little person. Is that the same guy from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Isn't that the little guy? Isn't that the Oompa Loompas? Remember, it's like the same person. All the Oompa Loompas are the exact same guy.
Yeah, I don't think that's him, though.
Are you sure?
No, but I don't think it is.
Looks exactly like him. It looks exactly like him.
I don't think that's him.
I think it is.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
then.
we're gonna have to find out. It looks like him, regardless. So we got him, and he's giving his whole performance where he's in that like split down the middle, two-faced. That looks cool. And then we have got the geek. The
person who bites the head off of chickens.
Yep. The geek at the freak show.
I don't like that. I don't like that that's a thing.
Yeah.
That people do.
There was a horror movie. I actually have it on VHS. It's called Luther the Geek, I want to say.
And he bites chickens?
Well, he's like from a carnival. And he's a weird looking dude. Anyways, so we've got this, of course the pastor's daughter has to be this hot blonde virgin who's like slinking into this dude's room and trying to throw herself at him, which is like every dude's secret fantasy. And he's just like, no, you have to go. He said, here's the weird, okay, I don't understand the virgin stuff or like this girl and his relationship at all. So she slinks into his room. He's totally into her, obviously. And he then, right as she walks in, he fantasizes about like them kissing and fucking, but then he pushes her away. It's not the full moon yet. He only changes on the full moon before the spell. Then, after he's taken into custody and the cop is like, oh, we'll see when we can get you out of here. The girl shows up and he just bangs her right there in his cage. Like, what was the point of holding out?
I think at that point in the film, he was supposed to be, concerned with self-control. And especially, like, the whole reason he was leaving before the full moon was because he couldn't control himself when that happened.
Right, so...
And up until then, I think he's, trying to be just virtuous,
He literally tells the cop, I need to stay in this cage because I'm a danger to everybody. Then he bangs her in the cage? How does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
He thought he killed her. that same day.
Well, that's also part of it too, right? Like, oh, I didn't kill you, so we can be together now, and also everything else is falling apart around him. So why not at that point?
I agree. Why not? Why not the first time?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think before he was trying to withhold because he wanted to be a good guy. He wasn't going to stay in town, so it wasn't like he was going to have a relationship with her. He was leaving, and he didn't want to do things, get her hopes up for something more.
Pro tip.
Or his hopes up for something more too, because he knew, I can't be in a normal relationship because I'm dangerous. What's your pro tip?
Pro tip.
Have sex with the virgin.
100%. If you're single and some freaking cute, willing chick like this sneaks into your room at night and wants sex.
But what if you're a werewolf? That changes things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just means you're going to be better in bed. Doesn't every girl want like a fucking
Wolfman?
Like
Ow!
uninhibited freaking
Unhinged.
Yeah, just
monster.
Scratch my back. Yeah, just go Wolfman on me. Anyway. And STW. I knew what that meant right when I wrote it, and I was like, I'm going to remember what that meant.
Do you remember what that meant?
No.
STW?
It's okay. And what the fuck? Nails pop.
Yeah, it says nails popping out.
Oh, yeah.
They pop out.
But why did it, yeah. Oh, right, because, okay, yeah, right, thank you. So, he's like so worried about being around during the full moon. This has got to be one of the dumbest scenes in the history of werewolf movies. He's like oh no, I got to get out of town, and I can't stick around, this and that. Then he's just like, I'm gonna take a nap, and he oversleeps. It wakes up at the full moon and then changes.
He's like, shit! Ah! My alarm! I didn't set it.
Oh no! What time is it?
Yeah,
what?
It's very irresponsible for the man who's trying to be as responsible as possible.
I know I need to leave within the next 5 minutes, but I'm just going to take a quick power nap. I'll be fine. No alarm needed.
5 hours later, he's like,
oh shit, I was supposed to be halfway to Albuquerque. That's got to be arguably the dumbest reason anyone's ever changed in a werewolf movie I've ever watched.
They overslept. Or they...
Oops.
Yeah. Oops.
Oopsie daisies.
That's what you get. Should have had sex with the virgin.
Then when we see him walk, it's really awkward. Like when he's werewolf form, he's like slinging around. But it felt real. Mm-hmm. Like if you were, there's a reason dogs don't walk on two legs.
Yeah, because their joints bend backwards.
So they're like, you ever seen a dog try to walk? It's really awkward. And in this, the wolf's super awkward when it's walking. And now I'm like thinking that's probably because the budget was low and they couldn't properly do it. But then
it kind of works.
And I'm like, I don't know, man. You actually kind of are breaking down werewolf logic to me. I don't think they could run around very well. You were getting chased by one. He's like, hold up, I'm coming.
Well, it would be cool though if a werewolf could bend their knees. They could go back into like the hind dog leg and run on all fours.
Both ways.
Yeah, and then stand up and walk like a human. That would be really scary, and it just pops.
It just pops, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm into it. That's not what happens here.
No.
And yeah, so he knows who Harker is, the vampire, when they're out in the open against each other. And he has, him kind of dead to rights. He does nothing. He says nothing. He's just totally fine about everything. I mean, he's, nervous, he knows who he is, whatever, but does nothing. Mm-hmm. Then once he's locked in a cage that he can't get out of and doesn't want out of, I guess, he starts grabbing at him I'm going to kill you. Mm-hmm. And it's but he was looking for him. It's not like this is the first time they met and all this and that. No. He was out looking for him. That's why he's looking at the freaking Carnival sign when the sheriff comes up on him because he's looking for this guy specifically. He's like, I found you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to kill you. What? Why when you were uncaged did you not try to kill him? But when you were in a cage, which you can't get out of, nor do you want out of, are you now threatening that you're going to kill him?
Yeah. I suppose, an explanation could be, before he turns into a werewolf, he doesn't have this, like, rage problem, and then after it happens, he's, like, unable to, you know, contain himself and how angry he is. So maybe his plan was to sneak up on him, like, he went to the carnival, he saw him, and then he was going to go back at a later time. Maybe even when he turned into a werewolf, like, that's why he wanted to leave. Because he's like, I'm going to leave this house and then go to the carnival so I can slaughter everybody. But that doesn't happen.
Right.
So at that point, he's just like...
Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Another thing that happens here that's really odd is that when the alligator man boy comes to talk to the werewolf guy, the back of the cage is just wide open.
Yeah, but he's chained up.
Guy is just, yeah, but like, if he was, I don't know, if he changed, he'd burst right out of that shit.
I don't know, though, because they have him in the show, and he's chained up as well, and he turns during the show.
Strong enough to hold a werewolf, huh? I guess so.
Must be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is very, like, even if you have your prisoner chained up, you probably should keep the door to their cage closed as 100%. Well.
But he doesn't want out of there.
No.
Right? But he's gonna kill that guy. He's just gonna have to come in his cage and get close enough so that the restraints won't stop him from killing him.
Sure, good plan. Yeah.
I like it. So yeah, that works. Then he's chained up. Okay, I like that. That answers that question at least. And yeah, the full moon isn't for a month. He knows that the vampire lied about stuff, but he wants revenge, but he's just sitting there. All this just doesn't make any sense. But moving on. Yeah, money for multiple nights at Carnival, but not your bills.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. I got nothing for this. And yeah, he turns werewolf in front of an audience. Mm-hmm. But he has enough willpower not to kill the cat. Mm-hmm. But the cat still dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that part. I like that he didn't kill the cat, but I don't like that the cat died later on.
So he has control over himself. And knows that he's like well aware of what he's doing, I guess, to a degree. Mm-hmm. But he still thinks he killed the girl?
I think it's just he doesn't remember what happened. So people are telling him that he killed her, and
right. I'm
sure that in his past he's killed people.
Sure.
You know, accidentally, so he assumes that that's the truth.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think that he definitely seems to have some ability to make conscious decisions.
Yes.
But maybe he's not aware that he does.
Well, and also, I don't know, there's no, like, reason why this would be the case, but maybe when he turns because of the full moon, it's different from when he turns from, like, a magic spell. Like, maybe the full moon turns him fully, so he kind of does repress the memories from that time, but because he was turned from the crystal and the chanting, maybe his, like, human side was still a little bit in the forefront.
Maybe it takes the full power of the moonlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. The townfolk watch this guy turn into a werewolf. Don't seem to be too concerned with that this carnival houses a werewolf until it's loose. And then all of a sudden they're all banding together like, we got to get this guy. Then they find him and they're like, but I can't kill him. He's just a man. It's like you already saw him turn into a werewolf.
But when he's loose, there's just one guy that's running around that's like, werewolf's gone.
Yeah, werewolf's gone. Everyone get up. Yeah, it's just funny to me that they all see this and then they kind of just go on about their merry lives until then he's loose and then everyone's like, oh shit, the werewolf's out. We got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just accept that there's a werewolf in town pretty easily.
You definitely would have more of a... Your world would change if you knew werewolves were real.
So one of the funniest scenes in this movie for me, for sure, is when the werewolf comes up through like the floor or whatever, and
It's
it
a
grabs the
vampire.
guy. Huh?
The vampire, you mean?
Is it a vampire? Is it the vampire?
In his coffin when the
Oh, it
mayor
is in the
goes
vampire.
in?
Yeah.
Only the
He
mayor's-
lifts him up through the ceiling and then like
Yeah.
throws him up on top of the like
The trailer thing. It's
That's
so
so funny.
Just like straight through.
Yeah.
Directly up. I mean, he's strong.
It's
so
so
I guess
funny
he could
how
do
it looks.
that.
It's so funny how it looks. And yeah, finally fucks her when he unpredictably changes. That's just it too. That's another point. Is like he doesn't know when he could change. This guy could read his little, incantation chant thing at any moment.
Just
So
in
he's
the
just,
other room.
on the before that, he just thought he changed on a full moon. So like 29 days out of the month, you're
He
good
was
to
fine.
go.
Right.
You can fuck her every other day of the month.
Except for that last day.
Except that it's like full moon is his time of the month,
Yeah.
and he's got to get out for a day, and then he can come back and he can bang away again. But now that he can change it literally any moment, and he just thought he was responsible for her death, time to bang.
Why not?
Time to bang. Makes total sense.
Complete sense.
And the blue and red lighting in this movie, the way that it's done, kind of like we have almost, except this is blue and pink
magenta?
and purple. It's very reminiscent of Creepshow. Like the way it's lit with like real heavy blues and really heavy reds on the face. It absolutely looks like Creepshow.
Yeah, I really liked the lighting in this during those scenes. I thought they were very nice looking.
And the alligator boy has, I guess, a photographic memory. I don't know. But he hears the incantation like one time and is able to completely mimic it, grabs the crystal and everything, and completely can, just recite this thing by heart in order to change this guy so that they can have their big duo.
Which is convenient, but,
Super convenient.
good for the werewolf and him.
Ash can't even remember 3 fucking words in Army of Darkness. You haven't seen that one?
That's the one I haven't seen.
You haven't seen,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. And then you get the vampire versus the werewolf stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, I like it. I thought it was very enjoyable, actually.
So that's cool. And then we come to easily the best part of the film, hands down, is the death of the vampire. The way it looks, as his face is melting away, and his skull is melting away, and his body's melting away, and all that stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, it looks great. Really, really cool
Yeah.
effects. It's kind of like the end of, was it 4? The werewolf melting.
Oh, yeah.
But this obviously had more things throughout the movie that were, pretty alright. But the end was great. I love the way he looked.
Yeah.
It's a cool take on vampires because, a lot of times they just turn into dust or whatever. And this, it was like, you could really see him decaying.
Yeah. It's, it's kind of similar to those videos you see of people who do like time lapse on
Like a
food.
decomposition. Yeah.
That's just what it's like, but it's all obviously in like 30 seconds. But it's a lot of work went into that. A lot of work went into that, and it's a super impressive practical and definitely needs more recognition for how cool it is. So put that alongside of the melting scene in part 4. You got some really cool effects in this franchise that I definitely don't think. And I like the werewolves in a few of these. Marsupials, not so much.
No, not
Pretty
so
ridiculous
much.
there. But the one in 4, the very little we see of the one in 5, and then like the melting of the vampire. I thought the vampire looked better than the werewolf in this one. Another thing, we were like looking for Mary Lou in this movie,
Ooh, I don't know where she is.
We watched like the credits and we're like, where?
She's in there.
Yeah, she's in there somewhere.
She's listed as
But I don't know who the
I don't know
fuck she
who
was.
Mary Lou was supposed to be. I don't understand at all why she's in the credits. I don't think they ever said her name.
Not that I'm aware of, but honestly, I was paying attention to every other thing.
And she's
Maybe
supposed
they
to be
did.
in the next
She's supposed to be.
two?
Yeah, she's in the next one.
The next one? So, I feel like it's going to be the same.
Same thing.
She's just going to be in the credits.
No, I think she's in that one a decent amount. I could be wrong, but I want to say she is. But I've seen it once. It has like a 1.8 on IMDb. It's awful. And I haven't seen it in probably 10 years.
Oh.
I've only seen it the once.
Second time's the charm.
I think it's called like
time.
New Moon Rising, I want to say. That's going to be rough. That's going to be rough. But you'll get some nostalgia out of it because we're going to have to watch it on VHS.
Ooh.
So,
That'll be fun.
yeah.
We also didn't talk about there were several boom mics in this.
Yes, I have that written down.
And a couple
Like,
cameraman
way
shadows.
down in, yeah,
which
really
is
bad.
Pretty good.
So rough. So rough, man.
I mean, it's been fun now because we're like boom mic, like
Boom
it's
mic.
almost like a game to
It's
see.
like Slug Bug.
Yeah, a slug bug.
Boom mic.
Boom mic.
You never played Slug Bug?
Mm-mm.
You don't know what Slug Bug is?
Is that when you see a Volkswagen Buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I called it slug bug.
You Slug Bug. You hit someone's arm. Except for when boys play, they give each other
They're
dead
like-
arms.
Yeah.
They're like Slug Bug.
They're like slug bug.
Yeah. Slug Bug. Ridiculous. Okay, so Howling 6, The Freaks. Not terrible.
Yeah, not terrible.
Not very good. Just there.
Just there.
Just there.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think that they developed the story well enough to what's going on with the opening, what's going on between the vampire and the werewolf. All that stuff. Just getting bored talking about this
You're
one.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, just, anyways, take it. So,
but not terrible. So
no.
if you like the Howling movies,
Then you're an idiot.
you might like this one then.
You're not purposely watching these, are you? I'd only watch the next one if I was paid, and I'm not getting paid, so we're not doing it.
Oh, sick.
Sick. Jinx. We are going to do it.
We're gonna do it.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.